Welcome to the CaesarBusiness.com podcast and video blog. My name is Kevin O'Flaherty from O'Flaherty Law, joined by my co-host Bryan McDonald from OnPurpose Growth, and our guest today is Tomek Campo from Julie's Personal Money Management. And our guest, our topic today is going to be getting your financial house in order. So, Julie, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Julie.
So, give us a brief description of what you do for a living and what your background is.
I am a financial coach. My background is accounting and education, and I'm also a certified divorce financial analyst. So, what I like to do is mesh my background to help people organize their personal finances so that they can obtain abundance in their life, their job, their career, everything.
Okay, so awesome. And when we were talking offline, you mentioned, we were talking about a topic, and you said personal finance is kind of the building block, the business finance. You step back and do that first. Can you kind of explain for me why an entrepreneur would need to think about personal finance?
Well, first of all, without giving too much background, the state of Illinois requires one business class. Personal economics, really. And that is just ridiculous because nobody remembers it. However, anybody who wants to do anything in their life, if you want to be a mechanic and you want to open up your own business, if you want to, be a lawyer and have your own law practice, if you want to be a doctor, you need to know something about business. And what's in business is finances. So it's information that is absolutely necessary for everybody, and a lot of people don't want to deal with it because it's something that's unfamiliar to them, and they just that'll take care of itself. We'll just go ahead and we'll build this business. We'll deal with all the finances, later. Which that's not the way to do it. But I also believe if you bring it back internally, you need to have yourself completely aligned with all the things, and finances is one of them. If you don't know what you're doing in your own personal life as far as finances and having it organized and categorized and put in the right place, you can't move forward in any type of business. So that's what I do. I help people to understand the importance as well as guide them in the process.
So what does having your personal financial house in order mean?
It means that you know every dollar that's coming in and every dollar that's going out. You have to give it a category. You have to realize, what are you spending on, and on a personal level, what are you spending on your groceries? What are you spending on your kids? What are you, how much are you putting into retirements? What are you spending on your business? Where are you spending it in your business? And then what's coming in? And kind of looking at every single transaction, putting it in some type of order, and then making decisions and analyzations. Before you do that, though, you really do have to determine some type of goals. Mm-hmm. What is it that you want to accomplish? Do you want to save $10 million before you retire? If that's your goal, then we go back, we take a look at all of everything, and then that's how we gear our decision-making process after we've gotten all the information in front of us.
So what impacts and outcomes happen when people get that personal in order in their lives? Like, what do you see happening on the positive side?
On the positive side, that is when it's kind of like clearing yourself. Everybody talks about the gratitude, which I totally believe in as well, mm-hmm. but also clearing your clutter. So if you clean out your car, you clean out your garage, you clean out your personal your personal finances, you get a clearer picture. You have a true understanding, and a lot of people are like, if you want to buy some office furniture, I really can't afford that. That's not in my budget. You know what? If you recategorize and really know what's there, it really is there. So the amount of abundance that you can obtain, because it's out there for you, you just have to clear your way.
Yep.
It's unbelievable what can happen, and I know it's an area of people are afraid, and it's a nuisance to a lot of people, but it's extremely important, and you can go anywhere and do anything if you have this important piece in line.
So what are some key behavior changes that you've seen from people who do this? What I guess mistakes are they making before they do this that they correct once they've got basically a budget in place and they know where their money is going?
Yeah, it's a slap in the face reality. Oh my gosh. And on a personal level, if I go back to that, food is huge. People have no idea how much they're spending on food. Like, wow, I'm spending these thousands of dollars in food. Yeah, now that we know, we can, step back and say, okay, do we need to go to the grocery store every other day? You know, are we wasting things? So it's really an ideal time to focus on what's important. I mean, you have your negotiables and your non-negotiables. You know, some people don't want to give up certain things, which is fine. Then we need to take it away from someplace else. But ultimately, people realize that they can do what they want to do. They can live the way they want to live, just slightly manipulated. And with the knowledge, and that's the key. It's the knowledge, because there's the information. Here it is. It's right here. You can kind of, you know, maneuver it, but it's there. So once I know that, then I can make much better choices and decisions.
What's the first step down the path of getting this accomplished for someone whose finances are, you know, maybe they're paying off their credit cards every month and they're doing their saving, but they like me, I don't do this. I'd like to, but I have no idea where my money is going. I know that I spend it on, you know, probably a lot on food and, you know, and but I haven't done the analysis. If I wanted to get started down this path, what would be my first step?
Goals. What's your goal? What do you want to accomplish? For instance, would you want to save a certain dollar amount? Do you want to put some money in some type of, you know, educational fund for your children? And then the second step is the tedious one, is lay it all out. Find everything that you have, everything that's related to money, all of your assets, all of your, you know, retirement accounts, and all of your bank accounts, all of your loans and your credit cards. Look at every single transaction, and I recommend at least 6 months. You can do it with 3. 12 is fantastic. That's the tedious part, and that's the part that people like basically need hand holding, just because it really shows you your life.
You mean follow that for 6 to 12 months, or save 6 to 12 months?
No, follow it.
Follow it.
Go
Okay.
back. Yeah, I mean, going forward, you want to. That's the point, is to do it going forward, but go back 3 to 6 months.
Oh, got
to
it.
understand your habits, your monthly habits.
Got it.
Now I understand there are things like I think Intuit has an app called Mint that does something like this where you can link it. I toyed with that and I couldn't quite figure out how to get it to only look at my personal accounts and not my business accounts, and so I hit a roadblock with that. But there are ways to basically automate it the way you would QuickBooks for your business. You can, you know, have it synced to your account and not be like because there's no universe in which I'm going to be going through receipts on my floor every month.
Yeah.
But if I could have it linked to my account and give me a nice report with charts, I like charts, I like colors, that might cause action. So how does that interact with kind of, do you help people get set up on apps like that, or are they competitive with you, or how does that work?
I do. If it's a business, I do QuickBooks online. So that's why it's transparent. They can see anything at any time. Personal, if I'm doing it, I will do it on Quicken. But when I'm coaching people to do it on their own, eventually on their own, I guide them through the process. I use mint.com, because it's right there. And what we do is separate the business from the personal, because that is really important, especially around tax time. You need to have those separate. So we go through and we make sure that, you know, everything is where it should be, and that is extremely time consuming. So no, I'm not looking at anybody's hand receipts. It's all being downloaded from everything. I try to get everything automated. It's boom, boom. I mean,
so you basically come in as a consultant and help them get set up with one of these programs so that they can do it on their own going forward.
Yeah.
What is, I'm asking because often these interviews turn into personal one-on-one consultations for me. What does something like that cost? Working with you to do that, or if you're comfortable saying over a video.
I do have standard. However, I really, because I have a process. However, it's a very personalized thing of, you know, goals and what they have. So my coaching fee is basically $500 a month with a 3-month minimum, and that's me coming to the house once a week for an hour or so. Sometimes I go longer, and just to get through the process. 3 months should pretty much do it. But then I have other types of packages where I can do it for yourself, and then I've got a whole other service line that's different.
Okay. Well, So we've talked about the personal side. Now let's talk about why this is an essential thing for an entrepreneur or a business owner to do for themselves. Because I'm guilty of this. When I started my business 6 or 7 years ago, my entire focus was on the business's finances, and my personal finances were, first of all in the toilet because everything was going into the business, and it didn't matter where. I knew where the money was going; it was going to the business, but I never kind of recovered from not having any organization there. Why is it important for me now to get both the personal house in order, and then talk a little bit about what you need to do to get your business house in order?
Especially for entrepreneurs, it's because so many entrepreneurs, before they even become they're the solopreneurs, a lot of commingling. They don't know which is what. They're paying their bills out of the same account, and then they're thinking, oh yeah. And I'm working with a company right now I'm doing the books for them, but they're paying for all kinds of stuff on their own personal credit cards. I'm like, this is not going to work. I need to know what's going on, and it's not tied to that. So separate accounts is crucial. It's key. So you really need to separate your business from your personal. And then you have to be careful, because if you can't conduct your personal finances on a long-term basis. I mean, obviously, we have a couple months here or there, especially if you're throwing yourself into your business. But if you can't, on an ongoing basis, conduct your personal finances, how are you going to be successful in your business? And you might say, well, of course, you hire people to do that for you. Well, my gosh, you got to know what's going on. You have to know what that person is doing, because you're ultimately responsible. I mean, I've heard too many stories where people are like, oh yeah, they know what they're doing, and may end up in jail.
Yeah.
Because ultimately they didn't know, but it's their responsibility. So it's extremely important to keep it separate. It's important to be flowing and know what's going on, because it does reflect. It reflects when you don't have your own personal knowledge. You can't have that personal knowledge in your business, and then if you don't have that personal knowledge in your business, you certainly can't trust somebody else to do that for you.
So do you find yourself helping them leverage their accountant better, and even communicating back and forth between their accountant to get more out of that relationship?
Not necessarily that, but what I do is I can see places where there's possibly, let's cut that back. Or, I don't make those suggestions. I say, I have them make the suggestion based on the information that I present. Because a lot, again, when you're up and running a business, you might be spending. A lot of it could be for aesthetics and right? But that's not necessarily good for the business. No. You can look fantastic, but if you have no money at the end of the day, and you don't anticipate any money coming in quickly, so you really have to know what's going on. I mean, every single dollar.
I think probably one of the more important things to having your personal finances set up the way you're talking about, especially when you're just starting the business, is, you said the first thing you do is set goals, your personal goals. It's hard. I did not know how much I needed to make from my business when I first started. And a lot of business owners will say, well, I just need to get this thing to not lose money.
Just make it by. Right?
But, when I set my first salary, a year or two in, it was basically an arbitrary number, and I didn't know, that was my guess at how much I needed to get by. If you do your personal financial planning first, you know what you want, and then you know exactly what you need to funnel into that budget and know what to pay yourself from your business, and then you can set your business goals from there. So
Right. And we all know that you have to set a specific goal, otherwise you're never going to attain it or even come close to it, right?
Mm-hmm. And on the business planning side, I'm totally guilty of everything you're talking about. Where I was, let's get the clients first and bring the business in, get the business operating well, and I'll worry about cleaning up the financial stuff on the back end. And I can tell if we're making money because the bank account tells me a bottom line at the end of every month. But now we're getting, finally, like 6 years in, we're getting to the point where we're wanting more detailed reports, basically for the purpose of if we have a down month where we're not making a profit. Before, I was completely powerless to diagnose what was going on, or if I was, had the power to do it, I was kind of crawling in the dark. Why aren't we making a profit? Is it because we're not producing enough? Is it because we don't have enough business? It's because we don't have a high enough realization rate? Where's the problem? So if you get your financial house in order on the business, and you can basically operate with less fear, because you can say,
Yes.
all right, we didn't make a profit this month. Let's look at the numbers and see what we need to
Yeah,
address.
you can't make any change. You can't make any changes. You can't make any judgments or any other goals if you don't know what the data is. So that has to be kept strictly in place, in line.
And I've said this on this podcast before, but a big mistake I made was I tried to do QuickBooks myself at the beginning. And, I think we redid the entire year of books, and it cost me more than it would have been cost just to get some good help with it at the outset. So, if you're not going to get a bookkeeper, if you're not going to just have your accountant do it, and I like to keep it in-house so I can, tailor it to what I need, I would definitely recommend everybody that's just starting to have some coaching, get someone that can work you through how to get it set up right for the first year at least, so you help with that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I do. And sometimes it's easier just, fine, they just turn it over. As long as they know what's going on, because it's not worth the time for them to actually learn it. The intricacies of it. They have to understand what a P&L is, what a balance sheet is, what and where the numbers are coming from. But the logistics of doing it is not necessarily worth the time for many individuals. But they have to make sure that somebody is doing it and somebody they can trust.
Right. Oh, well, thank you so much for being here, Julie.
Appreciate it.
A lot of great wisdom you shared with us.
Thank you.